All right, off the bat, Sun Wukong is winning. Anyway, Sun Wukong can literally body anybody and anything. He's defeated gods before. Hercules is a god, so he's gonna go. Yes, nigga, like, come on, son. He's gonna get wiped. And Sun Wukong is based off of. Oh, no. Other way around. Son Goku is based off of that. There you go. But anyway, Sun Wukong gonna body this nigga Thor real quick, like I did in God of War 3, bro. Easy, like.
Fuck that shit, I don't want no pit. Nigga, I don't want your bitch. Pull up in an old 9-6. Big body, no 4-wheel. Shit with the lift up kid.
This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by BetterHelp.
We're all familiar with burnout, the lack of motivation, the fatigue, the irritability without even knowing it. And it doesn't have to just be work related.
Help me,
it can be from
get
anything
to
in
this
our
video, bruh. Get straight to this video by putting like chapters in your things, please, so I can skip ads. I'm sorry, I love y'all, Rooster Teeth and all that, but alright.
Hercules, the god of strength.
Sun Wukong, the Monkey King.
Myth has many heroes, but few overcome their past to become legendary.
And maybe inspire some comics and anime to boot.
Yep. And bro, they got a game dropping with Sun Wukong in it. And we playing on.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
He's the man, the myth, the legend. He's Hercules.
Stories of Hercules exist in many iterations, but we'll examine the earliest known accounts, the legend of Heracles.
No Disney zero to hero, just the classic Greek myth. And like
Hercules,
most ancient Greek stories, it began with Zeus being a total creep.
The god of thunder did his thing with a princess by disguising himself as her husband.
Oh, what the hell, man?
And thus a demigod was born, who was named Alcaeus.
But Hera was pretty pissed Zeus had cheated on her yet again, so Alcaeus' human parents renamed him in her honor. Yep, Heracles means glory to Hera. Too bad she had already made up her mind though, and that kid was gonna pay.
The child would need some way to survive Hera's wrath, so the goddess of heroes carried out a plan that was, frankly, insane. Athena tricked Hera into nursing the baby Heracles, and her milk gave him supernatural strength unbound, even beyond many of the gods themselves.
So strong that he hurt her and caused her to spray milk all over the place like a boob sprinkler, which in turn created the galaxy. Yep, that's why we call it the Milky Way. Oh god, I'm never eating one of those candy bars again.
With his godlike power, Heracles became a fierce
that's
warrior.
How the Milky Way got his name?
Eating one of those. Yep. That's why we call it the Milky Way. Oh god, I'm never eating one of those candy bars again.
With his godlike power, Heracles became a fierce warrior trained by the finest instructors in all of Greece. Unfortunately, he wasn't without problems. While he was a natural at boxing, wrestling, fencing, and so much more, he struggled in the arts.
He even had a fit and accidentally killed his music teacher.
Little did Heracles know this was a sign of the tragedy to come. Many years later, as his name began to be synonymous with the term hero, he murdered his wife, Princess Megara, and their sons.
Yeah, Hera had magically driven him into a kill frenzy rage, but that didn't excuse it for Herc. His guilt was there.
Desperate to atone, he sought guidance from the Oracle of Delphi and learned his path to redemption. He would submit himself to King Eurystheus and perform for him 10 grueling labors.
The guy was a D-bag, but Herc did what he had to, and through his struggles built a killer arsenal.
For his first labor, he was tasked with slaying a lion whose hide could not be pierced by any blade.
So Herc just beat the lion to death with his bare hands and took the pelt as armor for himself.
He defeated a flock of metal, man-eating birds with cortalas so loud no living thing could bear the noise. He battled a multi-headed hydra, cauterizing its necks after each decapitation so the heads would not grow back.
A lot of sliced off heads meant a lot of blood spilled, and hydra blood is extra poisonous. Even gods fear it, so Herc dipped his arrows in the stuff for later use, like when he used them to take out centaurs, titans, and even the sun.
Sort of. The details of the Smith differ, but in some versions, Heracles was so fed up with the desert heat, he fired an arrow at the sun, the physical embodiment of the god Helios.
I guess that's one way to cool off. Take that, global warming!
To reach the sun, his arrow would have to fly 90 times faster than light. The maximum draw weight of a typical recurve bow is about 40 pounds, shooting an arrow 300 feet per second. Shooting one faster than light would require strength incomprehensible to mortals such as us.
Anyway, Herc completed his labors, but the king was a sore loser and axed 2 of them for cheating, because Herc was a lot more clever than he expected.
Heracles received 2 more tasks, one of which required he retrieve the golden apples of Hesperides, which ironically originally belonged to Hera. As part of his plan, Heracles would temporarily take on the role of the Titan Atlas, as bearer of the heavens.
That sounds exhausting.
More than you think, dummy. While modern art often portrays Atlas carrying a globe, the Greeks perceived his burden as a celestial sphere. This would mean Heracles supported the weight of not just the Earth, but the whole universe.
Like, I'm holding up this entire show.
The common view of the time was that the universe was endless. Even chaos, the primordial origin of everything, was boundless, meaning Heracles held up the weight of conceptual infinity.
Luckily, Herc's got one hell of a drive to persevere and to make amends. Like when he met King Admetus, he got to party it up and was too drunk to realize the king was in a really bad state because his wife had just died.
Reminds me of someone.
Can't imagine who. Well, Herc felt bad, so he decided to make it up to his bro by literally beating up the god of death until he returned Admetus' wife. And that's true best friend material. Whiz.
Heracles frequently surprised others with his wit, particularly with finding solutions hidden in plain sight. For example, when he wrestled Antaeus, a giant who was invincible so long as his feet were on the ground, Heracles simply picked him up and strangled him in the air.
Even giants and the god of death couldn't end his story. Instead, he was tricked into putting on a shirt covered in that Hydra blood, and it totally screwed him up. What a BS way to go.
Yet also a testament to how a contest of power could not defeat him. Racked with unbearable pain and burning at a pyre, Heracles called to the deities who had watched his story unfold. And so, as his mortal form returned to ash, Heracles ascended to Mount Olympus,
where he was welcomed as the god of strength. Even Hera lightened up.
His life may have been one of strife and struggle, but on that day, all the world was left in awe of the legend of Heracles.
Yeah, Herc's gonna get bodied out.
There once was a mighty monkey warrior, born of a mystic stone from the energy of the sun and moon. Upon birth, he graciously bowed to the cardinal directions and
shot lasers from his.
It was born from a like, god damn, you can't tell me that's not
monkey warrior, born of a mystic stone from the energy of the sun and moon. Upon birth, he graciously bowed to the cardinal directions and
shot lasers from his eyes. Strap in, folks, this one's a doozy.
This monkey soon befriended a band of other primates and rather narcissistically named himself their handsome monkey king.
But after a few centuries of monkeying about, he got a taste of the dreaded midlife crisis.
You see, the Monkey King was fierce and brave, yet he feared death. So he ventured to new lands in search of immortality.
Turns out he'd find a lot of it.
Training under the Taoist master Puti, he earned his first method of immortality and a new name. He would be the Monkey Awakened to the Void, spoken as Sun Wukong.
He also learned a bunch of magic. He can ride clouds, make thousands of clones, heal from fatal wounds like decapitation, and transform into basically anything. A bird, some vapor, a pitchfork, even an incredible fighting temple.
With his famous cloud somersault, he could traverse the world at incredibly high speed. At first, a single somersault could carry him 108,000 li. Li being a traditional Chinese.
I swear I can edit a video better than that. There's no fucking way this is actually I mean, I get it's the time period, but god.
His famous cloud somersault, he could traverse the world at incredibly high speed. At first, a single somersault could carry him 108,000 li. Li being a traditional Chinese unit equal to about 500 meters, making one somersault move 54,000 kilometers per second. Damn. Fast enough to circle the entire Earth in one leap.
And he'd only get faster from there. Monkey would do whatever it took to prove he was the best of the best.
When fighting the mighty deity Prince Nocha, his foe transformed into a more powerful visage with 3 heads and 6 arms.
But Sun was like, hey, I can do that too, and then did just that.
Sun Wukong eventually returned to his simian subjects, and with his newfound power, amassed a veritable army. However, he felt no weapon in their arsenal suited him.
So he barged into the Dragon King's palace and demanded he hand over a weapon worthy of a king who could match the power of heaven. Yeah, Sun was pretty full of himself, but he wound up taking a pillar originally designed to measure the depths of the ocean.
What seemed like a worthless rod to the Dragon King was actually the perfect weapon for Wukong. Weighing nearly 8 tons, the Rui Jingu Bang can change size at his whim. It can shrink to the size of a needle or grow long enough to pierce the heavens.
Rui Jingu Bang. That is the coldest name for a weapon.
Change size at his whim. It can shrink to the size of a needle or grow long enough to pierce the heavens.
The same heavens that got pretty mad with Sun after he crossed his name out of the Ledger of Death, making himself double immortal. Wait, how does that work?
And even more mad when he demanded to be formally acknowledged as the great sage equal to heaven.
Okay, we've got a headstrong goofball who quickly masters new powers and wants a fancy title. This is just shonen anime.
Now, the Monkey King may have lashed out, but it was because when he requested a place in heaven, a place he truly believed he deserved, the Jade Emperor's court reduced him to a stable boy.
Beneath all his antics, what Sun wanted most was to prove himself.
Even with all the shenanigans, the Jade Emperor remained cautious and willing to placate Wukong.
By making him the watchdog of the Garden of Immortal Peaches. He totally ate that shit, didn't he, Wiz?
Oh yeah, Wukong got hammered, ate most of the peaches, ran around the Jade Palace in a fit, and found 5 gourds of immortality pills, which he promptly swallowed. All of them.
Yo.
Okay, so that makes how many layers of immortality now?
I'd say a few 100,000, if you count each individual peach and pill. When he sobered up, he knew he was in serious trouble. So
I don't know how I would feel if I knew I would never die, but then again, I don't know. I really don't want to be immortal.
So, naturally, he prepared for war.
Wow, that escalated quickly. What are they gonna do? Kill him? So the Monkey King proved too strong for heaven. He battled all their best fighters and even matched Erlong Shen blow for blow in an epic battle of transformations. He's that guy with the third eye.
And heaven's greatest holy warrior. Yet no matter Erlong's form, Wukong always had a counter. Until Lao Tzu threw in a convenient plot MacGuffin that captured the monkey. But even with Wukong in chains, heaven had a problem.
He just wouldn't die. Lightning, fire, even Lao Tzu's de-immortalizing furnace just made the monkey stronger.
Now, Wukong is not invincible. He has been hurt by the scorpion demoness's poison, which could even harm the Buddha, an awakened divine being liberated from the cycle of life and death entirely. Now tell me, how painful is that?
Pain is all in the mind, and I am absent of mind. Oh, God! Oh, no, I was wrong! It's bad! It's really, really, really bad! Oh, God, make it stop! But even after all that, Sun had one more challenger to contend with. The Buddha himself!
Buddha approached Wukong with a contest. Leap out of his hand, and he could have the Jade Emperor's throne for himself.
Having no impulse control, the monkey agreed, and in an instant, Summer
started hitting the Lil Uzi Vert on the Buddha's finger,
for himself.
Bro?
Having no impulse control, the monkey agreed, and in an instant, somersaulted to the very edge of heaven.
But he had already lost. Because Buddha achieved nirvana, he transcended the world, literally holding all of existence. So even at the edge of the universe, Wukong technically never left his hand.
For his rebellion, Sun was put in timeout, sealed under a mountain for 500 years.
But even Sun Wukong would find a chance at redemption. In his case, he was tasked with escorting and protecting a monk, Tansong Zong, or Tripitaka, on a journey to the west.
With additional companions Pigsy and Sandy, the trip was a tough one, and Monkey abandoned it more than once. But through it all, he always returned to shine as the group's powerhouse, saving Tripitaka's life many, many times.
Like
Seriously, this guy could not stay out of trouble. It's like Wiz on a blind date.
Wukong has cracked apart mountains, slayed hundreds of monsters, and survived the Yellow Wind Demon's storm that could destroy the universe, as in heaven, earth, the 18 layers of hell, and more.
That's cool and all, Wiz, but let's answer the real question. Can he beat Goku?
Oh, yeah?
Maybe. During his journey, Wukong performed possibly his most legendary feat, holding up Mount Sumeru, which in traditional Mahayana Buddhism is a mountain supporting the infinite cosmic sky.
And Sun just hauled it around on one shoulder. Just one, because on his other shoulder was a whole other mountain.
After 14 years of travel, the journey was complete, and Wukong had finally accomplished a truly great deed. For this, he was given his long-awaited place among the heavens.
As the victorious fighting Buddha! Now that's gotta be an anime.
After so much time as a rebel, an outcast, and a truly unstoppable warrior, Sun Wukong had, at last, found his home.
It's time for a death battle!
Okay. I'm Sun Wukong, locked in.
Our tale begins atop a great mountain where the mighty Hercules sought a gift from the gods.
Oh there!
Huh?
I'm in need of that apple. Relinquish it.
Sorry, I'm supposed to find my master some vegetarian food.
You'll find it elsewhere.
But Hercules was not so easily fooled.
Yeah.
The Monkey King's strike rang true, but he not so easily overwhelmed the god of strength.
Nightcrawler too?
I am Hercules!
Damn, he knocked this nigga off the scroll, bro. Oh shit, he's got that clone jutsu.
Die, demon!
Agony! Agony!
There's no way he would be getting biffed like that.
The Monkey King fell into a strange forest, in awe at such a wondrous fight. But should he mistake his fear, he might lose his head.
Yo!
I haven't had such fun since I fought all of heaven. Change! Behold me!
Can't die.
The immortal Monkey King!
Multiple heads. Of course.
Bang! Zoom! Watch this!
Yo! Sent your ass to hell.
You've had your fun, beast, but I've had enough!
It has to be a tie, bro. There's no way.
In heavens above, the gods witnessed their earthbound selves, and so joined in battle.
I know Wukong's not
The
gonna
god
lose.
of strength mustered the heart of Olympus, while the great sage harnessed power equal to heaven. Thus,
They both die.
the Monkey King emerged victorious!
Damn, he
Wow, would you
obliterated
look
that
at
nigga.
that? I struck him so hard he was reduced to nothingness.
Put his ass to the upside down.
With a formidable foe slain, stricken against the mountain's breast, so ends our great tale of East and West.
Damn, my dog. My dog. Hey.
Talk about a
Just like
Herculean
that,
matchup!
bro.
Heracles was among the greatest heroes in myth, but the great sage equal to heaven held many more advantages.
You'd think Sun might not measure up to the god of strength, strength, but he totally could. Remember, he carried Sumeru on his back, the mountain holding up the infinite celestial sky, like how Heracles held up the infinite celestial sphere.
As befitting heroes of myth, they were on par in that they were both incomprehensibly strong. However, Wukong's healing abilities meant he could bounce back from Heracles' deadliest blows, whereas Heracles did not have a similar option.
But Heracles did have one way of putting the Monkey King down. His arrows dipped in Hydra poison.
The Hydra poison threatened even the gods of Olympus, similar to the scorpion sting. Whether or not it would be fatal is questionable, but it could have incapacitated Wukong similar to how it affected Heracles himself.
But that is one very specific win condition, and we're looking at this with every possible option in mind.
With his variety of clones, transformations, and numerous other spells, Wukong's arsenal was far more versatile.
Like, there was nothing stopping him from making thousands of clones of himself and just sitting back while they beat up Herc for him. Unsportsmanlike? Sure. In character? Absolutely.
Even then, those arrows would have to actually strike Wukong, which would be extremely difficult. Yes, in some depictions, Heracles could potentially shoot the son of Helios, his arrows flying 90 times the speed of light. However, in his contest with the Buddha, Wukong leapt to the edge of the universe in a single second. To do so, he had to be moving over 1.4 quintillion times faster than light,
making him way faster than Herc could ever hope to be.
Heracles held might of mythic proportions, but barring a lucky shot, Sun Wukong's versatile magic, similar strength, and absolutely absurd speed overcame this foe. Fitting for heaven's equal.
When fighting Sun Wukong, Heracles missed his chance.
The winner is the Monkey King, Sun Wukong.